Alrighty, guys. Good evening to all of you. I'm Ryan. I'm alongside Caleb here. We are Great Lakes Storm Chasing Network as well as Indiana Chasing Network this evening. Going to talk about some potential snow on the horizon. Probably a few of you, or perhaps many of you, have heard of this upcoming major system that's set to move through Sunday and Monday of this week. We figured we hop on here and give you guys a video detail of what to expect and what we don't know, what we do know so far. Let's go ahead and dive in. Let's not waste time doing this. So first and foremost, we do have some snow to get through first as a clipper-like, not really a clipper, but almost like a clipper system moves through, develops out here to the west across portions of Iowa. It does move into our neck of the woods here by late Thursday. So roughly Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Some later snow could work into the state there, especially northern part of the state there by Gary or perhaps Lafayette. As that moves east-southeast, that will bring some snowfall to a good chunk of central and northern Indiana. This is, again, late Thursday into early Friday. This model image right here is Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern. As this moves out of the state, we're going to have some rain on the south side down by Evansville area, and that should clear the state by sunrise on Friday around that 7 a.m. time frame. So a couple inches of snow is possible with that first clipper system. We have a forecast we have posted to ICN and GLSCN. We have our regional, which is right here for GLSCN. We also have the ICN forecast here. We're going with 1 to 3 for a good swath of north central Indiana from Lafayette over to Kokomo to Marion and Muncie and down into towards the Salina, Ohio area. Around that 1 to 3 zone, we do have a trace to 1 lighter blue zones, places like Warsaw, Fort Wayne, as well as perhaps Indianapolis sneaking into the trace to 1, perhaps an isolated higher amount there towards the Indy metro area. Further south and also to the very far northern corner of the state, we're going with traced or so, as far as like a dusting, maybe a snow. And then further south there, we're going with mostly rain for Vincennes, New Albany, and Evansville areas, just because temperatures are a little bit too warm that far south for snowfall that will accumulate. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into what you guys are probably going to watch this video for. And that is the system set to move through Sunday and Monday. There's been a lot of talk about this system, how major it could be for portions of Indiana. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we're looking at the European model here. Go ahead and take a full screen for you guys. This is the European model. We're going to watch out in Oklahoma here. We're going to see an area of low pressure develop roughly Saturday night. We're going to right about there or so. This is Saturday, right around midnight, and we're going to circle this. This is the area we're watching. This is a low pressure system that will develop and also push eastward throughout the night on Saturday into Sunday morning. Let's go ahead and speed this up here to Sunday morning. That system moves in to the Indiana area. The exact track is not yet known. I'm going to highlight that. We can go ahead and take a look at the Ohio Valley region here. There we go, a little bit zoomed in for you. So we have a good, pretty potent system here according to the European model that does move in. This is, again, Sunday morning. As we move towards Sunday afternoon, snow starts to begin. This model says central and northern Indiana. We have a mix down by, we're going to say south of Indianapolis there, according to this model. And then further south into Kentucky, Tennessee, for our friends down further south, rain is the most likely outcome. Now, I will stop it right here and I will highlight any shifts. This is the low pressure center right here. Any shifts north or south will shift the precip, the snow, the mix, the rain, north and south, depending on the direct shift. We are still 5 days away from this system, so minor shifts are likely. That could be further north, giving our friends up in Michigan perhaps a couple inches of snow along the 94 corridor, or it could shift south and give northern Indiana nothing and shift the entire state into snow in the mix down further south into Kentucky and Tennessee. The exact track is going to come down, or the exact precipitation types and amounts is going to come down to how this system tracks. Being that we are 4 or 5 days away from this, the piece of energy is still way off out off the West Coast. So we're not sampling this energy just yet. So what sampling basically is we have weather balloons that go up across the US every single day, sometimes twice a day, that can sample atmospheric data. We don't have that for the system just yet. So we like to think of it as an abstract idea. The models agree there's going to be a system, but until we sample that data, we really can't get specific with amounts, timing and locations of snow, perhaps some freezing rain, perhaps rain as well, until we get to right around Friday afternoon, evening. So by Friday evening, that is when we're going to have a forecast beginning to get locked down in terms of amounts and also intensity, location, and track with the system. So do stay tuned. You are probably seeing a lot of hype from accounts across Indiana, across the region, really. Yes, this will likely be an impactful storm. We're going to stay probably more than 4 or 5 inches on the heaviest, probably closer to 6 plus. It's just going to be a matter of pinpointing that where it's going to be. And there are also likely going to be a corridor of mixing with perhaps some sleet, freezing rain there in the pink areas. But again, this is all going to come down to where that sets up. Could be north, could be south. It's all on the table currently. So we just want to hop on here and highlight that. That system will move through and impact us likely during the day on Sunday would be the worst of the conditions. And then that system will move out into Monday morning. By the time Monday at sunrise comes around, we'll have some light snow showers on the backside of that system before it clears out of the state completely by Monday afternoon. So that is your overview of the forecast. With that being said, if you guys got questions, feel free to drop those in chat. Did I miss anything, Caleb?
I don't think so. Really, the biggest takeaway here is that models are in really good agreement, along with their ensemble members, that there is going to be a potential winter storm late this weekend and early next week. The greatest uncertainty right now is in track and intensity of the snowfall system and how far north or south it'll be. And a lot of that comes down to timing, comes down to phasing, and what phasing is how the system morphs or interacts with other areas of low pressure in the region as well. We're launching a really potent trough over Nova Scotia late next week in the 500 millibar, and that really can actually cause some teleconnections between this system and that area of upper level low pressure across Nova Scotia that can actually work for or against this system, depending on how strong it is, depending on other atmospheric variables as well. So a lot of things to iron out yet. And which is why we can't put snow totals out yet. We just don't know.
We should have our first call map available to you probably either late Friday, if not early Saturday morning. So if you're looking for exact locations and snow totals, I'd look to Saturday for our first map for you guys to get more so exact. Also, just want to kind of touch on temperatures as well. Something that's not being talked about enough, we feel like, is the temperature forecast here. This is based out of Indianapolis. It's going to drop quite rapidly as we get to that mid-January timeframe. We're going to see probably a hard freeze here for quite some time. We're not going to see temperatures above freezing for quite a while. This is a graph here based on Indianapolis from January 1st to January 16th. So we're going to be above freezing the next couple of days, but by the time January 4th rolls around, the system ushers in some cooler air behind it. We're going to be in the low to mid 20s for a while, perhaps even single digits or teens around that January 8th to January 12th timeframe. That'll be the coldest period, and then still going to be in the 20s, if not low 30s, into the mid part of January. So the snow that will stick between now and we're going to say Monday, it'll be here to stay for quite a while. So do enjoy it for you guys who are snow lovers.
Yep.
Any good snow for Shorewood, Illinois? So again, we can't really get specific with the system just yet. I do think most of Illinois, most of Indiana, most of Ohio will have chances, keyword there is chances, of snow from the system. But any shifts south or north will dictate, who will see rain, who will see perhaps a mix, and who will see snow. So I'd say come back on Friday night at the earliest. If not, then check back with us Saturday morning for our first maps for the system.
Yep. Yeah, once this piece of energy comes on shore and it's able to be sampled and we're able to analyze that data into our numerical forecast models and our short-term forecast models, those are mathematically driven, so we're able to get more of that real-time data of this piece of energy as it evolves. Long story short, right now, this piece of energy that we're talking about here is actually up by Alaska right now. Over the next few days, it's going to move. It's going to come on shore across the Pacific West Coast. That piece of energy is then going to move across the Rocky Mountains. As it comes out over the plains, it's going to deepen into a surface low. A surface low pressure system will develop, whether off the mountains in Colorado, Texas Panhandle, somewhere in that vicinity. It'll act as such as a Colorado low. And that'll then move across the continental United States next week. Right now, we don't know specifics on that system yet, other than models have a really good agreement that there will be a winter storm next week, but there's grave uncertainty in terms of track and intensity associated with it. More data will be known next week or this weekend.
Your energy is right about there.
Yep.
If you kind of watch that kind of move on shore, that's why we talk about sampling. Once the system moves on to the United States soil, that's when we can get sample and get better data. So just kind of keep an eye on that area. We'll watch that come on shore here, and we'll see samples there. There it comes. Here it comes. Here it comes. And bam, it's on shore. Here it comes. There is in Oklahoma, and it drives up into our area there.
Yep. And sampling just that system is only one part of the puzzle. You're also taking samples of atmospheric data across the country and across North America. All that data comes together into how it'll affect that low pressure system and affect its ultimate track and intensity and moisture profiles associated with it. So all that data needs to be analyzed before we can put out specifics on this system. But there is high model agreements in terms of the cold that's coming. That is something that I can say with high confidence that will impact the Great Lakes region is the cold, especially January 6th onward timeframe. We're looking at some of the coldest air of the season. We have a really potent negatively tilted trough that's going to come with Arctic high pressure. That Arctic high pressure is going to bring down a lot of potent cold air. I would not be surprised to see some cold weather warnings being issued for parts of the high plains and perhaps even parts of the Great Lakes region if we actually if that air is able to stay cold as it moves south. Historically, a lot of times that air will gradually warm as it moves south, but depending on the speed and the potency of that cold air, it may remain very cold. Some ensemble data is suggesting, 20 plus degrees below average in areas as well. So a very, very cold system and pattern is coming across the Great Lakes region, which cannot be ignored.
Adding to that, would not be shocked to see a multiple stretch of days where we have wind chills close to, if not below zero as well.
Yeah.
That confidence in that is a little bit lower, but overall confidence in cold is very high.
Yep.
Do you guys...
Still a little bit further out for that.
Yeah, not sure about that just yet, Shander.
We'll go back to near term here. Talk about our Clipper-like system that'll be moving through here through the region tomorrow night. We have a weak low shortwave that'll be moving through tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, into early Friday morning. There it is there coming out of Iowa. This is tomorrow evening. This is tomorrow night after midnight. And then Friday morning by about 7 a.m., it should be out of Indiana, moving into Ohio Friday morning. Not a lot of moisture associated with it. This is not a very strong system, but there is enough low-level moisture here associated with this weak area of low pressure to perhaps bring some light snowfall across Indiana and Ohio, with a general 1 to 2 inches expected across most of Indiana and Ohio, central Indiana, central Ohio, with lesser amounts south of Indianapolis and north of Fort Wayne. Same thing goes for Ohio. Heavier amounts north of Columbus, lighter amounts south of Columbus, and then also lighter amounts across northern Ohio as well, from, let's say, Paulding County over towards Sandusky and Toledo. There could be an isolated, 3 inches, especially around Indiana and maybe even central Ohio as well. But I think most will be in the range of 1 to 2 inches, as there's not a lot of moisture associated with it. This won't be a heavy snow. It'll be a light, fluffy snow before it's all said and done. I don't expect any major impacts associated with the system, other than expect snow-covered roadways for your Friday morning commute. Lake effect snow is another thing to talk about here. We do expect lake effect snow to really ramp up across the Great Lakes region, including areas northeast Ohio, from Cleveland eastward. Areas there over the next 5 days could see 6+ inches of snow, maybe upwards of a foot in some places as well, over towards northeast Ohio, associated with these lake effect bands. Behind this Clipper system that moves through, we're going to get northwest flow. That'll again ramp up the lake effect snow along Lake Michigan, Lake Superior, and Lake Erie. And then this is a multi-day lake effect event. We'll have several inches of snowfall across western Michigan, especially northern Michigan and the UP, where 10+ inches of snow are likely in the snow belts up by Lake Superior.
Maxwell here in chat says this probably is the peak of winter we are getting into. Honestly, we are in winter, so yeah, this is going to be I'm not gonna say the peak, but this is definitely winter, a winter-like pattern we're going into.
Yep.
But I will say this as well: long-term models don't really hint at much in the way of a warm-up coming throughout the month of January. So I think we're going to be here cold for quite a while. February is still a little bit too far out to really get specific, but I will say January is looking cold.
Yep.
Any other questions, guys? If no more questions, we'll probably look to hop out of here. But I just want to hop on here and give you guys an update with that system that's making its waves around social media. So I just wanted to set the record straight on what's true, what's not true, what to expect, what not to expect. So if you guys are just joining us, rewatch the first about 7 or 6 minutes, 7 minutes of the video. We'll talk about the system in depth. With that being said, we're going to pop out of here. I see a lot of people saying hi here, so just want to shout you guys out for watching. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be live here probably in the coming days as well to give you guys like updates and briefings as we expect impacts, if any, here in the region. Anything else you want to say, Caleb?
I don't think so. Stay tuned to the forecast here over the next few days or so, especially moving to next week. I know a lot of people go back to work on Monday of next week. A lot of people have this week off yet. But keep an eye on this system coming down the pipeline. More details will be known on that as the system is sampled and as more data becomes available into this weekend ahead of the storm. So model agreement is highly agreed upon that this system will occur somewhere in the Ohio Valley region. Right now, exact specifics in terms of strength, intensity, moisture, and amounts are yet to be determined as the system is analyzed once it comes ashore. So more data to come on that, more updates to come on that. And we will keep you guys updated as that data becomes available. So with that being said, hope you guys have a pleasant weekend, and I hope you guys had a wonderful New Year's.
Stay safe, guys. We'll see you guys likely in coming days.